let's recap real quick. Flyers pull out a 7-5 win. Thanks for everyone that stuck around for this, by the way, too. 5-point nights from Sean Couturier and Travis Konecny to cap off the Flyers' victory. Sean Couturier with a hat trick, scoring the empty net goal to put the Flyers up 7-5 and put this game away. A real banner night from the Flyers top line. Keep this line, man. Don't break it up. They looked great. Sean Couturier providing net front presence for the Flyers, which we talked about in the summer. The Flyers kind of lacked that presence, and we saw him in that position last game. Flyers scored 2 goals with Couturier net front. I think Tippett and I want to say Michkov ended up getting those goals. Tonight we saw a similar thing. They figured something out last game that worked, carried it over into tonight, and Couturier was able to have a massive night hanging around the front of the net. So let's kind of recap things here. The Flyers started the scoring with a Sean Couturier goal. He picked up a rebound from Rasmus Ristolainen just a minute and 18 seconds into the game to put the Flyers up 1-0 with assists from Ristolainen and Travis Konecny. Nick Seeler would put the Flyers up 2-0 with the primary assist from Travis Konecny, a pretty feed, and Michkov also got his 5th assist of the year. Flyers would escape that period with a 2-0 lead, if you can believe that. They only had 3 shots on goal in the period, but finished up 2-0. The Minnesota Wild kind of started, I think as the game went on, the Wild started playing more of their game. They're a really tough team, came in on a big winning streak. There were even people up here tonight that were predicting the Flyers to lose big time, and wasn't the case. Flyers, even though they were being outplayed for most of that second period and the end of the first, I thought they showed some resolve. They kind of bent, but didn't really break there, which I didn't think they looked bad while they were getting outplayed, if that makes sense. They just had to get it going. The Flyers didn't get they didn't even get a power play, or they weren't called for, the Wild weren't called for a penalty until under 2 minutes left in the second period. And that's when the Flyers pulled the goalie. It was a 6-on-5. And Matvei Michkov, man, the magician. This dude is fun to watch and put the Flyers back up 3-2. If he gets time and space, guys, he is deadly. And it's something. As a 19-year-old, it's really something to watch. I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect this so fast. I think over the summer we were predicting 50, 60 points for Michkov, and I thought he was going to kind of have to ease into things, and he is kind of easing in 5-on-5. But with time and space, he's a weapon. Man, he is lethal with time and space. So puts the Flyers back up 3-2, and that proved to be a pretty massive goal because the Wild would receive a power play of their own, their 4th of the game at this point. Flyers haven't had one up to this point, and they score. They tied the score at 3-3 with 4 seconds left in the second period, and that's a tough one for the Flyers, who were kind of fighting them off for a little bit, and that was a tough one. So it's funny because as soon as the third period started, I said the Flyers are going to need to score first here, because when the Wild get leads, at least so far this year, they don't relinquish them. They don't give them up. And Marcus Foligno got the Wild on the board early in the third period, basically right after I tweeted that out. And I thought, oh, shit, here we go. But Travis Konecny tied the score on a power play goal for the Flyers. Morgan Frost and Owen Tippett with assists. And so the theme of the night, at least for me, was the Flyers were showing the resilience that they showed last year. They didn't just go down. They could have easily, put their heads down, slumped the shoulders when the Wild kept coming back and tying the score. Instead, they fought. They really wanted this win tonight. You could see they outshot the Wild 17-5 in the third period. And they kind of just kept the foot on the pedal, at least in the third there. Sean Couturier scored his 2nd of the night. Travis Konecny with another assist. Nick Seeler had a multi-point night with a goal and an assist. You'd love to see that. Unfortunately, the Wild were able to tie the score at 5 on a goal Sam Ersson would probably like to have back. I'm not going to put any of the other goals directly on Ersson tonight. Aside from that one, that's one he's got to have. Later in the third period, I think with just over 4 minutes to play, Rasmus Ristolainen crashes the net and on some pretty passing plays from Konecny and Couturier, who I mentioned had 5-point nights. This was the 5th point for Konecny of the night and the 4th for Couturier before the empty netter. Ristolainen crashes the net and deposits what ends up being the game-winning goal for the Flyers. And Couturier, as mentioned multiple times throughout the show, puts away the empty netter. And did you guys see the reaction from Couturier after he scored that? I have Travis Ballinghoff in the chat here. I've been crashing out the last 24 hours. Yeah, Travis has a video up, I think, for Nasty Knuckles, but it was pretty cool to see Coots excited and show some emotion. You're right. I think the rest of the team feeds off that from the captain, especially from a guy who maybe doesn't show that kind of emotion, throughout a game. When a guy who's not necessarily doesn't show the emotion like that gets emotional, I think it gets the rest of the guys involved. The rest of the guys start to feel the same way. So that was really cool to see. Yeah, let's talk about the 5-point nights and let's talk about that top line. TK, Coots, Michkov, don't ever break that line up, at least, for now. That's a line I think the Flyers that's a top line, right? And they played like it tonight. It has the chemistry with Konecny and Couturier, and then you add in Michkov. Michkov had 2 5-on-5 points tonight. They weren't power play points. I think 6 of his 7 points coming into tonight were all with the man advantage. Tonight he added 2 even strength points. I know the one was 6-on-5, but I think technically that ends up being even strength, I think. So I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of the game tonight? It was a fun one to watch. At least the third period was, right? What else do we have here? So I mentioned the Wild were out shooting the Flyers 7-3 after the first. You guys like what you saw from Jamie Drysdale tonight? I thought he looked a little better, a little bit more confident. How'd you like the pair of Sanheim and Ristolainen? I kind of like that pair, right? They played together a few years ago, and tonight I thought they played well together. I'm going to throw something out there, and I want to hear some feedback from you guys. Is there a world where we see maybe a Cam York on a top pair with, a defenseman that maybe is not on the Flyers yet, Sanheim and Risto as a second pair, and Drysdale and a Sealer as your third pair? Is that crazy? Just going to throw it out there and see what you guys think. But all in all, it was a fun game to watch tonight. I was really, as I'm watching, I'm really hoping they were going to pull that out. If they lost tonight, it could have been a backbreaker kind of game. And then they got Montreal coming in tomorrow night. And, Montreal's fans travel well. So, it's going to be a Michkov versus Montreal game tomorrow night. But yeah, overall, just a huge game for Sean Couturier, who let's see what we're at points wise on the season now. I think in the second period, I put out a tweet that said Michkov led the team in goals, assists, and points. After a night like tonight, let's see where we stand, or a game like today. So with the 5-point night, Michkov and Konecny are now tied in points with 9, and they're both tied with 4 goals apiece. Where does Couturier end up after tonight here? I don't know if he had any goals. Okay, with the 5-point tonight for Couturier, he now has 3 goals and 3 assists on the season, so that moves him up to 6. So, hey, maybe that gets him going, man, and they need him to get going. So, good stuff, guys. It's freezing in here. Big win by the Flyers, so I'm gonna sign off. We'll be back tomorrow night with another post game, but definitely make sure if you're watching on YouTube, guys, make sure you're subscribed, leave a comment, and give us a share. We're hopefully we can get out to more eyes and ears, to Lyndon, to Kenny, Travis, Ant, Zach, everyone that let me know that they couldn't hear me and stuck around for the rest of the show. Really appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow night with another show. Everybody enjoy your weekend, and let's go Flyers.